Hi, this is Lorraine, and I've been guided to create another video. If you'll give me a minute to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. Again, there are several areas I would like to discuss. I would suggest checking the timestamps to navigate the video. And please feel free to ask questions in the comments. I appreciate anything you offer, and I'm happy to answer those questions to the best of my ability from my perspective and my intuitive knowing. The first area I would like to discuss, and I was guided to discuss it last week, but I didn't, so I feel it's important to bring it up again this week, or bring it up this week because it kept on coming in all week very strong. And that is that presently I really do not follow any of the current information that's being put out about 3i Atlas. I feel much of it is misinformation or disinformation. There are several individuals that I have followed from the beginning, or from about mid-October of last year, and I do trust those sources, so occasionally I will check those sources, but outside of that, I don't follow anything that's coming in new about 3i Atlas, and I trust in the messages I received related to 3i Atlas, its objective, its path, its purpose, its makeup, what it's made of. All the intuitive knowing I receive, I feel very strong and confident in. And then again, those several other sources that I have come to feel are sincere and worthy of being heard and trusted. That's how I feel at this point. The next thing I wanted to discuss was I was watching a video that Avi Loeb did about academic harassment, and what attracted me to it was something about numbers being changed in the thumbnail. And so that's how the video started. He was discussing some research he did, a paper he put out, and then the next day after he put it out, the numbers had been changed. And so he had found or observed two meteors that were interstellar based on his calculations. And the next day whatever the source of information was, had changed the numbers to make them look like objects that were from our solar system. And so he elaborated, and the video was very interesting, but as I was watching this video, the messages came in very clear, and there were parallels being made that I felt were very important. And I kept on getting information about Nikola Tesla at the same time. And so to me, this video and Dr. Loeb's perspective, point of view, and what he shares with us every day is his truth. His research and what he does, he's very committed to it. And what was coming into me was, this was his journey of expansion. Now, typically, I don't share intuitive knowing about people, because it's very important to respect boundaries. It's very important to respect privacy. But I feel like these videos are put out for us to help us to understand. He puts them out to share his expertise, his wisdom, his knowledge, his experience. and they're meant to help us grow and expand and understand things that we wouldn't typically know or understand if he wasn't presenting this information. So I feel like he is helping me to not only understand what he does, but who he is. And so as I watch the videos, I see a man who is committed, sincere, and carries an incredible amount of integrity in what he's doing. And what I have observed is that many scientists, generally speaking, who I respected over the last 10 years, who I've watched and learned from, have narrowed the scope of what they share and how they share it. And it's clear that their voice has been dubbed. To me, it feels like they are being edited and they're being told what they can and can't say. And I feel like when I watch Dr. Loeb's videos, that he is putting forth the information as clear and concise and as accurately as he possibly can. And he's helping us to see what's happening from his perspective. And he keeps doing it even though he keeps hitting walls. He finds another avenue or another pathway, but he doesn't stop and he doesn't let it dishearten him. Maybe he gets frustrated, we all get frustrated, but he keeps on moving forward. And it made me think about my journey, my own journey of awakening and expansion and growth, and all the walls I hit and all the challenges I faced. And I just kept on moving forward. And that's why I say that he is going through his own journey of expansion from his perspective. And I feel very strongly that I need to talk about that. It kept on coming in very strong. I send him blessings and love and protection as much as I can. All the time, actually. I do it whenever I do it for myself, because I understand that journey can be challenging. And I'm not high profile like he is. He's a very high profile person, and so he opens himself up to many things, including blessings. And so I share that with him open-heartedly and sincerely. But I feel like it's very important for us to see this journey from different perspectives. And being someone who is purely intuitive, I come from it from a completely spiritual, intuitive place, to understand that there is a pathway that is not my pathway to expansion and growth and reaching expanded levels of consciousness. And I've said it in the past, I believe Nikola Tesla understood his oneness, wholeness, and his true divine nature through science. The next thing I wanted to discuss was this feeling I have of being disconnected. I feel very disconnected with what is going on in the world around me. There's very troublesome things happening, a lot of struggle, much discord, but I feel very removed from it. I feel very removed from it, but I still feel an incredible amount of compassion. I feel an incredible amount of compassion for what people are going through. But I don't feel tied to it. I have removed myself from the outcome. That's what came in today. There is much push and pull. There is much duality. There is much separation happening with right now. People taking sides, left or right, blue or red, conservative or liberal, right? Or whether it be related to any ideology right now, whether it be BLM movement or the transgender movement or anything else, right? What's happening with trafficking, what's happening in the government, what's happening with the borders. There's so much stuff happening right now. And I see it and I acknowledge it, but I do not commit to any outcome. I do not take a side. I share love, support, and I project that balanced energy into those situations as much as possible. I clear the space whenever I think about it. Whenever something tries to draw me in to take a side or trigger a response that moves me into expressing an opinion that takes a side, right? Every time that happens, I immediately move myself back into center. I have mantras that I say that help me. I am love, I am light, I am beautiful, I am divine. I will heal myself and divinity with the love that is me. And I just go into that zone and I repeat it over and over and over until I've released the energy that's moving me out of center. And I have several things I say like that, but it is my commitment to remaining in balance. And again, I don't have, I do have an incredible amount of compassion and empathy for what's going on, but I'm not committed to it. And I'm not committed to any outcome. And by doing that, I feel incredibly removed from what's going on in this world presently. And that is how would I want to say this? This is the reality of living in this phase shift. That's what's coming in. That's what came in earlier today. This phase shift between, and I'll just say 5D and 3D. I don't really like those terms, but they're the best way to express this. We're in this phase shift between this 3D level of consciousness and this 5D level of consciousness. So both are existing at the same time. They're both existing on this world at the same time. But the fact that I am so far removed from what's happening on a daily basis tells me that at one point both were vibrating together closely. Now they are separating. Okay, that 3D and 5D realities are separating. And so if you're feeling something similar to that, it's because you're removing yourself from duality. You're removing yourself from the outcome of duality, of taking a side. And you're understanding the importance of approaching everything from a balanced state. And once you start to reconcile those two sides as one, that's where healing begins, that's where perspective shifts, and that's where growth happens. And how that looks for each person is individual because of your perception of your reality. All your experiences in your life from birth to present and even past life information that's in your subconscious or super unconscious. As the gentleman who wrote Journey of Souls calls it, he calls it the super unconscious, and I apologize, I can't remember his name right now. Even though that information isn't in your conscious mind, it still affects you. It still affects how you perceive the world. But the most pressing is your experiences on this world. And all those experiences frame your perspective and your point of view. And because each of us have different experiences, even if we're raised in the same house, in the same household, those experiences affect how we perceive the world. And therefore, every experience is perceived different by each individual person existing in this reality, in this world, on this planet, however you want to look at it. So although our experiences may be similar, they're all going to be different. And that is information that came in very strong, that I share that information because it can be very alienating and it can be a bit lonely to feel this disconnect and have people not perceive what you're seeing the same way you're seeing it. Right now we're at this very strong place of we've already gone through the vetting and now we're going through a culling, and the people who align with you are going to be very aligned with you. You're not going to have to speak to them or explain things to them because you're already on the same page. You're already understanding and perceiving things very similarly because you're no longer moving forward from a place of separation. You're moving towards unity and reconciling those two sides as whole and one. The final thing that came in as that information was coming in about feeling disconnected, what came in right after that was Perijove, 3i Atlas hitting Perijove. And actually the words that came in were return to earth. And that, I discussed that in a previous video, but return to earth doesn't mean that 3i Atlas is going to make a U-turn and come back. But I feel like there will be something coming towards earth. It will be coming towards earth. And it will be even more undeniable than 3i Atlas. To me, 3i Atlas was something greater than a comet. It was meant to help us heal, help us expand, and help clear, center, and balance Mother Earth and everything on this world. And I feel, again, very strongly, when 3i Atlas hits Perijove, there will be something that comes back to Earth to help us grow and expand, and it will be even more undeniable than 3i Atlas was. Give me a minute to see if anything else comes in. I think that's it. Thank you.